Welcome back to Reviews and Rankings with Robbie Sobel. Today I return with a brand new Dollar Tree and Big Lots movie haul. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and it's been a while since I've done this, but over the last 2 weeks or so, the Dollar Tree and Big Lots have gotten a brand new batch of movies that they have priced incredibly low. Obviously $1 at the dollar store, and at Big Lots almost everything was $3 or less, some going as low as only $1.88. So of course, being the collector that I am, I've had to make a couple of stops here or there and check out some of the local stores to see what they had. I know a lot of folks were following the previous videos I did, going to the Dollar Tree and kind of hunting down what could be the next additions to my collection, and it got some good feedback, so I decided, you know what, why not do a brand new one here about 6 or 7 months later. Kind of breaking this down into maybe 3 or 4 sections. I'll first just get the non-genre movies out of the way, and I'll start with these two. Number 1, Justice League: The New Frontier animated DC film, as well as Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. Now, if you're a fan of DC animated films, you know that most of them in their line are pretty high quality. DC gets some unfair criticism, in my opinion, when it comes to their live action movies, which I pretty much across the board enjoy. But when it comes to their animated work, it's universally accepted that it's top-notch and high quality. And I'm looking forward to checking these out. Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay, Justice League: The New Frontier. This is the special edition. So we'll check it out. I haven't seen these two yet. So for $1 each, you know, can't really beat that. Also, here is a movie called The Paperboy. Stars Matthew McConaughey and Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron and John Cusack. I'm not really sure what it's about. I didn't really look too much into it, but it looks pretty interesting. If you've seen The Paperboy, what did you think? Put your thoughts in the comments below. I figured, why not? Now, here is a stack I'm really looking forward to. It's a mix of DVDs and Blu-ray, and it's from the Magnet company. They put out genre films, a lot of times East Asian films, and just kind of wild action horror. So I'm really looking forward to it. This was a pickup from Big Lots called At the Gate of the Ghost, and it kind of takes place in Japan, long time ago. It's an action flick, as you can tell. I'm looking forward to it. East Asian films, you know, whether it's Korea, Taiwan, and China, and Japan, they really pump out quality work. And over the last year or so, I've gotten into these films so much so that I'm probably going to end up doing a ranking video of maybe my top 10 East Asian films. Will this one, At the Gate of the Ghost, make the list? Only time will tell. Another one here from Magnet, The Deadlands. This seems really interesting, and it kind of looks like it's like Aztec warriors hunting down people from their tribe and getting revenge on those who came in and kind of like pillaged their family. This is something I'm really interested in. The cover alone is good. This was $3 at buy one get one, so couldn't really beat that. It's loaded up with a bunch of special features, and that's something that I gravitate to. Movies that are kind of just standalone with nothing else to offer, I'll just watch on streaming. I don't really even like to add it to my collection. But if the special features, whether it's behind the scenes looks or documentaries or a commentary track, things like that, really beefs up the release and makes it something that's worth buying. So you have something to watch beyond just the 90 minutes or 2 hours of the movie itself. Here's a horror movie starring Christian Slater. As you can see right there, $1.50, Playback. Seems like a mid-2000s horror film. A lot of times movies like this kind of just get thrown in and they're not really worth it. But then again, you are going to get your hidden gems that just fly under the radar and end up being pretty solid. For $1.50 on the Blu-ray, it was worth it, especially for Magnet. I really dig their releases. Here's one that Wes Craven says will leave you breathless. I've heard a bunch about this. It's called The Signal. Once again, $1.50 at Big Lots on Blu-ray, and it is loaded with a ton of special features. It says it's New Year's Eve in the city of Terminus, and chaos is this year's resolution. The city is ravaged by murder and madness, and people will have to fight to survive. Hey, you know what? Sounds kind of like The Purge to me, and I love that shit. Next up is a paranormal activity exorcism style film called Apartment 143. Another one that's loaded up with a bunch of special features right here on Blu-ray. I'm not the biggest found footage type fan, which seems like this is kind of where they're going with that, but exorcisms and possession films are one of my favorite subgenres, so you kind of suckered me in with this one. We'll see. Once again, $1.50 again, who knows? Here's one I'm really looking forward to checking out. It stars Tony Todd, Noah Hathaway, who played Atreyu in The Neverending Story, James Duval, and Mark Hamill, of course, from Star Wars, and the voice of the Joker in many of the Batman animated movies and the TV show. Sushi Girl. I have to admit that I had this previously on DVD, but I couldn't pass it up on the buy one get one. I needed to pick something else to add to it to get the full buy one get one. So essentially I got this for free and upgraded to the Blu-ray. The special features are beyond loaded. So this seems kind of like a quirky flick. I'm really looking forward to checking it out. And looks like that Noah Hathaway is a guy who had been in prison for 6 years. He gets released to kind of hang out with his old friends, and shit essentially hits the fan. Here's one I wasn't sure about getting, but honestly, the cover sold me. Hammer of the Gods. Takes place in 871 AD in Britain, when a young Viking warrior is sent by his father, the king, on a quest to find his estranged brother. This seems like 90 minutes of full out, turn your brain off, enjoy the action, just kick-ass flick. Comes with a free copy on Vudu, so for all the digital fans, you might want to do that as well. Here's one that the film stage calls a masterpiece. It's called High Rise. Now, just reading up a little bit about it, it seems like this is going to be really heavy on the social commentary when it deals to class and class warfare. It all takes place in a high-rise apartment, and the people living at the top are kind of the most wealthy, and the people at the bottom, of course, are the poor of the group. And when shit hits the fan in the world of high-rise, the classes kind of come together and clash. I'm really into films like that. I love movies that you can kind of just watch all the way through and kind of just enjoy them for what's on the surface. But then you can dig deep if you choose, and you get your political and social commentary, and that seems like what High Rise is going to do. And I'm really looking forward to checking this out. Might even do a review on it. Stars Elizabeth Moss as well, and Luke Evans. I'm a big fan of both of those actors, so we'll see. Speaking of East Asian films like I was earlier in the video, here is one called Beyond Outrage. It's a Japanese gangster movie. Now, I previously got Outrage, so I believe this is a sequel to that. It might be. We'll see. Japanese films in general can be wild and off the wall. Japanese filmmakers kind of go balls to the wall and all out there, and they're not for everybody, but I dig them. So, you know, if we're talking about gangster films with the Yakuza and whatnot in Japan, sign me up. I'm all for it. This is going to be about 2 hours of it, and it also comes with a 62-minute making of feature. So that's like a full documentary on the movie. Here's a horror film from Magnet as well called The Bloodlands. A new couple get a farmhouse, and things don't go well dealing with looks like paranormal entities or crazy folks who might be intruding. So it could be a home invasion film. We'll see. You know what? Why not? 90 minutes for $1. Can't go wrong. Here's one that got pretty bad reviews, but I was really interested in it. It was called Sands of Oblivion. And it says here, it's in 1923, the legendary director Cecil B. DeMille constructed a replica of ancient Egypt in the California desert for his new movie, The Ten Commandments. Very popular film. When the filming was complete, he mysteriously ordered the entire set buried. Now, a soon-to-be divorced archaeologist couple and an Iraqi war veteran come together and uncover the secret, and there was more to meets the eye. So we'll see. You know what? Worst comes to worst. It's what? $3 on a buy one get one, $1.50. Can't go wrong. Here's one that I've been hearing a lot about for a long time, and it always kind of passed me up, and that is Case 39. And it stars Renee Zellweger in this, as well as Bradley Cooper. That's really interesting. I haven't even looked up anything about this movie, but those are two high quality actors. They've really been in some big time movies, of course. So I'm looking forward to it. Renee Zellweger is quality. Bradley Cooper is really good. And you know what? At under 2 hours, this should fly by. A few more here in the stack. We're looking at a film called Fury. This was a top East Asian film. I believe it was from Taiwan, I believe.
Oh, no. No. No.
Kind of a revenge film, a mother-daughter revenge film. I'm all for that. Also, an action spectacular. I'm down for it. We'll have to see. Here is one that stars the wonderful and gorgeous Scout Taylor Compton, who I actually had a chance to meet and chat with for a good amount of time about a week or two ago at the Spooky Empire Horror Convention here in Orlando, Florida. Scout somehow just gets better every time I see her. She's just absolutely gorgeous, stunning, and super nice too. She'll engage with you and talk and whatnot. She's not the type that just kind of sign you a little autograph and send you packing. She really gives you your money's worth, and wasn't even that expensive to meet her. Oh yeah, by the way, it's called The Ghost House. I've seen this before. It's pretty solid. For $1, why not? Okay, so if you've been to this channel before, you know that I love zombie movies. So here's one. Disaster LA, The Last Zombie Apocalypse begins here. You know what? In the age of COVID-19 and the pandemic and the lockdown, really, that kind of dominated most of 2020. Zombie movies really kind of got reignited because the themes were pretty similar when you're dealing with hunkering down and quarantining, and instead of zombies, it's a virus. So even the bad zombie movies I dig to a certain extent. They're just fun. Shut your brain off, don't overthink it, enjoy it for 90 minutes. Here are two Shudder originals, so Shudder exclusives. One is called Boar, and one is called Gwen. I'm assuming Boar is kind of just like takes place in the Australian outback, and a killer boar comes to get you. You know what? This one sold me because it has Bill Moseley in it. Bill Moseley, of course, is Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. He was in House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. He's done a lot of things. He was in the Night of the Living Dead remake as Johnny. And Gwen. So we have, looks like a bloody, gory good time, and then a supernatural style film in Gwen. Shudder, if you don't have Shudder, it's like $5 or $6 a month. It's a streaming service. A couple of months after they stream their exclusives, they throw them on DVD or Blu-ray. So you could just subscribe to the streaming service itself and watch them. But for collectors that want to own physical media for $1 each, it's a steal. Arachnophobia is one of my all-time favorite films from the 1990s. It has Jeff Daniels and John Goodman and that really pretty girl in the shower where you see the spider crawling down to her boobs, but I digress. It's a spider film, and so is this. Itsy Bitsy. Has the mother from the original Pet Sematary. That caught my eye. Boom. And the other thing that caught my eye right here on the spine, it's a Scream Factory release. Scream Factory is one of the premier and top horror movie companies in regards to releasing things on physical media. Oops, sorry about that. So I figured I'd add it to my collection. Here is a film called Intruders. It's like a home invasion film. I've seen this on multiple streaming platforms kind of just being available, but I always kind of skipped over it, or I would put it in my wish list and not really watch it. But I figured, you know what? It keeps showing up every time I go to a store or a streaming service. So I'm going to own it. I'm going to watch this damn thing. Intruders. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. They say it's from the executive producers of Paranormal Activity and Insidious. Ascent to Hell. This stars one of the main actors from House of the Devil. Don't know much about it. I haven't even opened it. But it's just another one that, you know what? Why not? Now, I talked about my love for zombie movies, but what about my love for exorcism and paranormal films? And I'm hoping here that Scream at the Devil is a hidden gem. Co-starring Tony Todd, of course, Candyman himself. So I'm looking forward to it. Comes with a nice slipcover too. So for us collectors who like that type of thing, that's just an added bonus. And the last, but certainly not least, is a film called Inoperable by my super crush of all time. I've met her 3 times, once back in 2016, 2019, and just over a week ago, right before I met Scout Taylor Compton, the one, the only, the sexy, the gorgeous, the vivacious, and incredibly sweet and talented Danielle Harris. If I see a movie, especially at the Dollar Tree, and she's in it and I don't own it, I'm going to buy it because I want to add it to my collection. She always pumps out just really fun horror movies. So even if the film isn't, high quality, the highest of quality in terms of storytelling and whatnot, it's always fun. And at the end of the day, if you're going to go watch a horror film, just have a good time with it. Don't overanalyze things too much. Just enjoy the ride for the 90 minutes. And I'm hoping that's what we have here, in the form of Inoperable. I believe it takes place in a hospital during a hurricane. Hospitals are always really creepy settings. I love isolated horror films, so taking it in a hospital kind of reminds me of Halloween 2. That's probably the most popular, at least my favorite of the hospital settings in a horror movie. So, boom, Inoperable. So there you go, folks. Dollar Tree, Big Lots. If you have one of those stores near you, head over as quick as you can. Check out any of the local Dollar Trees and Big Lots in your area, because there's always going to be times where certain stores don't have the exact same movies. There's always going to be a crossover where you're going to see certain films at each location, but then they kind of have other ones that are spread out. So give it a shot. Take a couple of hours, grab yourself some lunch, get a coffee, and just go movie shopping. If you are a physical media collector, especially these days, you have to know how to do it within a budget. A lot of companies come out and they put out Blu-rays and 4Ks that are, $25, $35, $40, sometimes even higher. You have like box sets that go $70, $80, $90, or even $100. That's really crazy when you think about it. And I get it because it's such a niche product that they have to keep the prices at that point so they can keep their businesses going. But there's ways that collectors can do this to where they're not overstretching beyond their means, so they can still have their hobby of collecting, but do it in a responsible way that doesn't break their bank and break their finances. You have to find a way to balance taking care of things that really matter, like whether it's your kids and your bills and keeping your finances in order, while at the same time having a hobby where you could have some fun with. So it's a balance that you learn over time, and grabbing some Blu-rays and DVDs for $1 or $2 on a buy one get one is really the best way to go about it, and it's going to give you your best bang for the buck. But anyway, I'm going to quit my yapping and lecturing on how to collect. Just have some fun, be responsible, and if you like this video, hit the like button. If you loved it, you can subscribe. You can visit me at Instagram and Twitter at RankingsRS, and just remember to keep watching movies.